Hello and welcome. Today, guys, we're going to be taking a look at Guild Wars 2. This is my first real attempt at a proper structured YouTube video, so bear with me if I'm not so quick in my speech or not so smooth with my commentary. Guild Wars 2 recently announced a new expansion, and I am pretty excited for it, so I figured I'd jump back in and maybe start off a new character and see how the game treats me again, and see if that expansion is something I'm gonna want to pick up when it comes out. So, as you can see, I've got a max level Elementalist here, but I'm not going to be playing him right now. This is the first episode in a new series of videos showing pretty much the entire progression of Guild Wars 2 of one character. So I'm going to be creating a brand new one for you guys. So let's get right on into it. So first off, we have to select a race. There are 5 different races to choose from. You've got the Chars, which are these sort of cat, wolf, bear-like creatures that are really big and really menacing. And when they sprint, they like run on all fours, and they're very feral in design. And I think they suit warriors and like tanky classes really well. The next one is your standard humans, not much to talk about there. The one after that is the Norn, which is basically another race of humans, or human-like creatures. And they're big and they're hulking, and they're very good for mid-range classes, I think. Honestly, races, in my opinion, are usually just for personal preference and appearance. But in Guild Wars 2, there is a lot of lore that ties in with whatever race you pick, because there's a system in the game called your personal story, which is a set of solo instances that you run through on your way from level 0 all the way to level 80 that create a sort of narrative for your character. And the race you pick greatly affects how your story plays out. It affects where you start off the game, and to a degree how you end it. The 4th race is the Asura. They're these little tiny, I don't know, almost alien-looking characters. They remind me a lot of gnomes, or like elves. Not elves, but more gnomes. And dwarves, in the sense that they're very mechanical and very technologically advanced. And then the final race is the Sylvari. These are literally sort of living, sentient plant creatures. So instead of hair, they have leaves, and they're very connected and in tune with nature. And yeah, my last character was a Sylvari, but this time I think I'm gonna try a Norn, because they're quite interesting in my opinion, and I've never really given them a shot. So I say let's go. I don't like playing females in most of these games because they make me feel kind of creepy. So I'm just gonna stick with the male character. And now we're at the class screen. And in Guild Wars 2, classes are called professions. And right now there are 8 of them, but they're supposed to be releasing a new one in the Heart of Thorns expansion, which is the thing I was talking about earlier. You've got your warrior, which is a standard hulking behemoth. They get to wear heavy armor, and they get to hold great swords and like axes, and basically warriors. They soak up damage and they deal out a fair deal of it as well. And they've got quite a bit of crowd control too. The Guardian is is basically another tank, but they work differently in the sense that they dump a lot of buffs and boons and stuff like that to keep your party going. So they're very supportive. They're a very supportive class. The Ranger is a long-range DPS character who has a lot of good AoE as well as some single target and crowd control with their traps and things like that. They usually use bows and arrows, but I think they're allowed to use melee weapons as well, and they stick to medium armor. The thief is basically the rogue. They are melee DPS and they're quite squishy. They get to wear medium armor, and they have a lot of stealth and misdirection abilities. Basically, they like to go into fights, deal a lot of damage really quick, and then hop out a bit and wait for their cooldowns and things to refresh. Next, we've got the engineer, which is, in my opinion, the most complicated and not so fun kind of class. They basically don't do much of the damage themselves. They put down turrets and things like that, and little stations everywhere to deal damage, to deal AoE, and to heal to a degree as well. So basically, think of them sort of like Heimerdinger from League of Legends. They're not so fun, and I don't think I'll ever see myself playing them. Next, we've got the Necromancers, who are basically mages that use magic damage and cast spells from afar, and they do quite a bit of DPS. And they're, I believe they're able to have minions as well to follow them around, the same way the ranger gets to have a pet. And they're interesting and they're fun. The Elementalist is a class that I've got the most experience with, and they specialize in switching between 4 different stances. One stance for each of the 4 elements, so fire, water, air, and earth. And in each stance, they get different attributes and different stat boosts and different abilities as well. So the fire stance is very focused around doing a lot of AoE and burning damage and damage over time, so a lot of dots. The air attunement is really good for crits and knockbacks and knockdowns and stuff like that, so a lot of CC. And the earth is good for also some AoE and some bleed, but also it makes you really tough and really tanky, so you could actually tank while attuned to earth. And water is, well, as you might imagine, it's healing pretty much. There's when you're in water attunement, you get a lot of spells to heal yourself and allies, as well as a few freezing spells that serve as CC. I really like the Elementalist because overall you have around like 40 different abilities you have to jump around between constantly, because above all those attunements I said earlier, each attunement gets 5 of its own unique abilities, and above all that you have you're able to summon different weapons that you can equip, and those weapons that you drop on the battlefield, they add more abilities for you to use. So you can summon like a lightning hammer, and that will give you some CC, some knockback, some new skills you didn't have, but only for a short period of time until they go away. And finally we have the Mesmer, who basically specializes in confusion. What they do is they basically lower the enemy's hit chance so much that most enemies won't even hit you, and they have a lot of they've got a lot of different abilities as well, in that they can clone themselves. So they make a bunch of clones and they send them out to attack enemies. They can wield great swords, but they don't actually hit with the greatsword. So the way a Mesmer uses the greatsword is totally different from how a warrior or a guardian might use one. And they're quite interesting as well, but since I've already been very experienced in light armor and things of that nature, I was hoping to go for something more in the medium to heavy range. Perhaps... why not? Let's go with a warrior. I don't like my characters to look too big, so... apparently... okay, I guess that's not so bad. I prefer my characters when they're sort of slimmed up, not so bulky. I guess this is the only one I could get that's kind of small from the Nordic side. Yeah, as you guys can see, there's a nice variety in the amount of stuff you can customize in the game, but I wouldn't say it's even close to one of the like most advanced systems I've ever seen. I've uh, I've played a lot of different games with a lot better customization abilities, but I think this is a good balance between custom, like full-on crazy customization and accessibility. Because while a lot of other games, like let's say APB for example, can let you customize your character to insane degrees, it takes quite a bit of work and effort to do so. But with Guild Wars 2, I feel you just kind of hop in and you start creating a character pretty damn quickly. It doesn't really take much time. What kind of beard would I like? Ah, that's a nice beard, I think. Oh, and you do get some sliders as well for some more nuanced changes, but I don't think I'll be messing with that too much. Give him some nice pearly blue eyes. I'm pretty happy with the way the guy looks. Now we'll just change some of his color schemes. And the nice thing about this dye system that you're seeing right here is that in Guild Wars 2, anytime you get any piece of armor, you get to customize the dye combinations, and you don't. And for example, you get to mix and match so that they look the way you want them to. So I'll show you guys right now what I'm talking about. Like, it's a really nice touch, and it makes every piece of gear you get potentially unique, because you get to just mess around with it and put your unique color scheme on it. I think I'll go with a gray and dark gray sort of. Yeah, I think this would look nicer. Oh, but not everything. Just these parts. Alright, are we happy with the way he looks? Yep, I love him. Okay, now here you get to pick a few options to flesh out your backstory, and this will affect the personal story that I was talking about earlier. Depending on what you choose here, your story plays out a little differently, and also some of your stats or some of your attunements change a bit later as well. So for example here, I don't know if this is purely cosmetic change or difference, or if this will somehow affect my stats later, but I think I will go with the no helm at all option, because I like the big broad shoulders on him. This option is always present for every character, and I guess it just depends on the kind of person you want to be seen as. I always like being the good guy, so I'm just going to go with dignity. My most important quality is that I have the necessary cunning to protect the spirits, strength to defeat ancient foes, and intuition to guard them. As I'd say strength. I am a warrior after all. At a recent celebratory moot held in Hilobrock, I blacked out, got in a fight, lost in heirloom. I inherited Rocco's horn, a magical ancestral heirloom passed down, blah blah blah. To one too many drinks, however, I wagered it in a contest and lost. Ooh. I'll go with that one. When I was still a kid, I had a vision. A spirit of the wild spoke to me and offered its guardianship. That spirit was raven, wolf, snow leopard, or bear. Okay, so the bear is the most powerful among the spirits. She is a symbol of fortitude and self-reliance. She roared over me and I was a babe, and ever since I had bear's courage. Snow leopard is a stealthy, smiling spirit. Okay, this teaches us independence, strategy, laughter in the face of danger. To this day, her wisdom guides me, and my memory of her visits comforts me on dark nights. Wolf has the cunning of the pack behind him. He imparts the virtue of loyalty, ferocity, strength in numbers. Yes, I will go with that. So, Though trouble may follow me, I overcome it with dignity. Wolf, my spirit guide, teaches that there's a time for violence and a time for peace. I work hard to maintain my physical strength and prowess, and yet in the past I have been foolish. I wagered Romka's horn on ancestral heirlooms with magical properties. On a test of strength, I was overconfident, but I'm determined to get it back. I'm a warrior, and I wear no helm on the battlefield. Because of this, my enemies falter when they see the fearless determination in my eyes. This is my story. And let's name him, I don't know, Silverlight. Maybe like that? No way. Silverlit? Oh my god, guys, I'm sorry. This is the most irritating part. Is trying to find a good character name. How about Tindelhorn. Yes. Well, we've got Tindelhorn now. Awesome. So now it takes us into our opening cinematic.
Hunter of the wild, born of the free and rugged Shiver Peak Mountains. In the far north, my people fought our greatest enemy, Jorman, a dragon of frost and snow. The dragon broke our pride, but it did not break our spirit. In our last hour, we heard the voices of 4 of the spirits of the wild. Bear, Raven, Snow, Wolf. They called us south, away from certain annihilation. We founded the Great Lodge of Holbrook and claimed new hunting grounds. Some say we should not fight Jorman. I say the greatest risk is to wager nothing at all. One day, a hero will lead us home, and we will break the dragon's icy grip. I was born in the fire of combat. My spirit has been forged and tempered like steel. Like my ancestors before me, I seek glory. One day, I will take my place among the heroes of the Norn.
He is pretty hardcore.
My strength is a gift from the spirits of the wild. With it, I can hold back the tide. I can move mountains. I can overcome anything that stands in my way. I am still untested, but already, my deeds have earned me friendship and great respect. Each year, a great hunt is called in Holbrook. Only the best among us are invited to participate. I shall use my might to collect trophies that prove my worth, then drink and boast of my victories. I accept this challenge. I relish it. Come danger, come adventure. In the lodges and halls of my people, my strength will make me immortal. This is my story.
The production value in this game is actually pretty damn good, and I think that's one of the reasons why I feel it's one of the most polished MMOs I've ever seen. And it, like most MMOs, they have just one thing that they use to draw people in, but I feel Guild Wars 2 is better at being a more fully fleshed out experience, because it's got a great story, but it's also got good combat and really nice what's the word? Really nice content and like a lot of PvP and PvE battlegrounds and stuff. So this is the first foray into our personal story.
Hail, hero! Are you here to take part in this year's great hunt?
Of course I am. Just tell me what needs to be done and stand clear.
Hunt down the wildest animals you can find and take trophies from your kills. Present only the finest to Ido the Ten to the world. Whoever has the best trophy and whose bravery is the greatest will be invited to join the great hunt. Newt Whitebear has said this season's event will be one of the most dangerous, so be ready. I've even heard the renowned heir Stigulkin might attend.
I look forward to impressing them both after I've earned my place in the hunt.
Alright, so now you'll see in the top right corner, this is where we get our, this is where you get your quests, and you can see when I scroll over it highlights my quest objectives. So in the bottom right corner where my minimap is. So let's just get right on into it. I think, yep, I'm going to be doing a bit of combat right now. So the combat in this game is very simple. It's very familiar, I think, to most MMO fans if you guys have ever played anything of this variety before, like World of Warcraft, for example. So it's tap target, but at the same time, it's almost a hybrid system because it's you can move while attacking and you can dodge in real time to avoid incoming damage, which is the stamina bar here. So if you, I think the button is, nope, it's not shift. Oh, if you double tap in a direction, you'll perform a dodge roll, and that's how you avoid taking some damage. So right now I guess we just got our kill, and I think we're going to present our findings.
Hail, Hunter. I'm the local leather worker. Ido's the name. And I'll make him into trophies he'll be proud to show at the moot. Pricking, singing, and boasting. I love a good old-fashioned moot. Others save their parties for holidays, but I say every day alive's worth celebrating.
This guy's pretty cool.
Look at this impressive trophy. Worthy of the great hunt, I'd say. Indeed. You are skilled enough to defeat your prey, and wise enough to revere their spirits. You are worthy to join in this year's great hunt. By my own hand, I've brought the mighty worm Norn. He waits above in the plateau for one such as you to challenge him. The great heir Stegalkan watches over him now, waiting for the hunt to commence. When it is time, you and the others will go to the high ground, over the valley. There you will face us all. Claim victory, if you can. I can, and I will. This is where my legend begins.
Alright, so I've got to go inside somehow. I think I go in from here. But yeah, there are a couple of other ways. So your personal story usually unlocks once every 10 levels. You only get your story missions once every 10 levels, and when they run out, you basically go back and whoa. Okay, cool. So I guess I just keep going. But yeah, so between your quest or your story quests, you can roam around the world and do randomly generated events that spawn in the area that you and any other players can participate in and get experience from based on how well you perform it. And then other than that as well, there are every area has sort of area specific quests you can perform that or like little tasks like kill X number of these or X number of those, or fetch this many like apples from something, or even some funner things like, you know, perform drinking contests. And as you perform those tasks, a little heart in the top right corner fills up. What you see here, this is an event or an example of one. They show up on the map just like this, but this is obviously a single player one. As you can see, combat is, whoa, fairly standard, but it does get a bit more intricate as time goes on, especially since there's no dedicated healer class in this game. So you can't just spam away in dungeons and have everything go swimmingly. If you don't do things, whoa. If you don't do things right in this game, you can get like party wiped pretty easily in dungeons, even at low levels. Whoa. Um, this boss is an example of a world boss that spawn around the map at random times. Obviously, this one's a lot easier just because it's a tutorial mode.
What a hunt! I heard about your victory. Very impressive.
Thank you. It was a hard-fought battle, and I'm proud of my part in it.
An excellent beginning to your legend, friend. You know, a lot of folks around here have problems that need solving. A slayer like you could be a big help. Putting your skills to work sharpens them, and helping others wouldn't hurt your reputation either. Think of the glory.
I will seek out these problems and solve them. Then we shall see how my legend grows.
Alright, so there we go. At the end of every of your story quests, you usually get one of these reward screens. And they give you a little bit of XP, a bit of money, and usually an item as well. Oh. And with that, I just leveled up as well. And here I get to see my level 2 rewards. It shows you what you get from doing that. So I just unlocked my tier 2 skill. The abilities, and this is actually a perfect time to talk about that, is that your abilities in this game, they actually are tied to the weapon you're using. So if you're using, for example, a longsword, like what I'm using on a warrior, you get specific skills made for a warrior when he's using a sword. But if you go and you hold a dagger, maybe, you get a totally different set of skills as well. I'll try to display that more in depth once the levels keep going. I'm just going to grind a little so you guys can maybe see a bit more of the combat. I think my new ability is a jump. Yes, it is. Okay, cool. So I just got a very nice gap closing ability. The combat in this game is really flashy and really well designed. It sucks that it's tap target, but there actually is a really nice mod out for the game. It's a very simple one. It runs off auto hotkey that turns the game into a bit of a tab or a bit of an action combat system, kind of like Terra. If you guys will just give me a second, actually, I could load it up. Wherever I put it though. Where did I put it? I think crap. Oh, I think I know. Should be right there. Yep. Alright, so now, you'll see I'm not right clicking anymore. I just press tab, and now when I left click, I auto attack. And when I right click, I dodge. So it's basically turned it into a Terra sort of action system. So now I can move and auto attack and use abilities, and it makes the game quite a bit more fun, in my opinion, than just the regular system. But either one's fine. If anyone wants, I can upload a video on how to install that mod later.
This valley is a sacred but dangerous place. Visit the shrines to the spirits of the wild. You'll be tested by both our enemies and the spirits themselves. And look out for extraordinary chances to prove your courage.
Yeah, you guys see these hearts on the map? These are the area-based questing system, the game of the game that I was talking about.
Finding the Asuran waypoints. You may have to pay a small fee to return to them faster than the Ravenflies.
Gotcha, buddy. Alright, so actually let me pop open the map. So these are the area-based questing systems I was talking about. So for example, this one says that find hidden raven eggs and return them to roosts, defeat Skelk, and destroy their nest. So if you go in close to where this heart icon is, and you do any of those events, that little bar underneath it will slowly start to fill up, and the heart itself will start to fill up until it's fully maxed out. And when that happens, you get a bit of karma, which is an in-game currency for late-game loot and race-based gear. You get some gold as well, and you unlock a vendor at that area that you can buy and sell items from. It's a very new take on the traditional questing system, because there is no way to accept a quest in Guild Wars. In Guild Wars, you just go into these areas and just start doing whatever it is they want you to, or they ask you to do. Ooh. So I am going to start the tab target system. Whoa. And yeah, so I gotta kill these guys. And now, once I do, you'll see that that little bar in the top right corner just went up a bit. And once I destroy this nest, the same thing will happen. Oh. I'm sorry, dear. But yeah, I like this system because honestly, progression in Guild Wars is piss easy compared to some of the other games I've been playing, like Terra, for example. And it's mostly really easy because it's you never feel the grind. It's just because you're constantly doing very different things in very different environments, and it feels different. And the story missions as well, they keep you interested with a pretty well-written narrative. I wouldn't say it's like crazy good or filled with twists and turns, but it's well and respectfully written in the sense that it respects your intelligence as a player. Alright, let's just grind out a few more of these. The starting zones in this game are pretty slow, I'd say, but that's to be expected. They kind of want you to get the hang of everything. They don't want to toss everything at you all at once. For example, there are some other systems you won't be seeing in this video, like the talent, or not, I don't know if it's, no, skill point system, where as you level up you can unlock different skill points, or you can obtain skill points that you can use to upgrade abilities in the foremost slots over here. Which do very different things, and those are also class based. I have to right, I need to hand in the eggs. Wait, who am I supposed to hand in the quest to? Or the eggs? Okay, I have no idea who I'm supposed to hand my eggs to. So what now? And I have no idea. I guess I'll just go back and kill some more stuff. Doesn't take so long, really. Okay, I just need to place the eggs back. Alright, there we go. So yeah, as you guys can see, I just finished this heart, and I got some karma and some coins. And now onto the next. Whoa. Oops. Onto the next one. There are no mounts in this game. Something I think some people might want to know. The fast travel system is actually entirely based around those waypoints that you see on the map. I'll point them out in a second. I'll just grind this out. Yeah, these waypoints are your only means of fast travel, other than Asura's gates that are found in major cities like Lion's Arch. But the waypoints, basically, you need to run up to them, and that's how they get activated for you. And if you want to travel between them, all you have to pay is a small amount of gold, but you can travel from anywhere to anywhere instantly, so long as you're not in combat. My one gripe with Guild Wars, though, is that I really wish they did have mounts, not just because it would have made finding the different waypoints easier, but also because mounts kind of they make the world feel a bit more realistic, I guess. I mean, it's not so realistic that you can just, like, put your hands together and then spawn like a dragon out of thin air, but it is kind of nice to, like, ride a... Whoa! Why? What the... Ah, fuck. But yeah, it is kind of nice to be able to ride like a mount around, because it feels cooler in my opinion. I don't know. That might just be me. It's not so much of a con so much as I just wish it was included. It doesn't make the game any worse though. And the game is very well designed around the fast travel system that they have in place. So I don't feel like I really need a mount ever. Yeah. So yeah, you guys can see now I just went to a different heart, and the quests take a totally different turn. Now I'm disarming traps and reviving acolytes. I think that's what they're called, yeah. I think I need to kill these guys as well. Yep, so now we're killing off humanoids. Apparently this is all supposed to honor the bear spirit. I don't get it, so we're supposed to be hunters, but I'm supposed to disarm these bear traps? Meh. I'll try not to disarm any of the... whoa. Any of the discrepancies in the lore. It all made sense at one point, I'm sure. One of the nice things about Guild Wars and the combat system is that since you only have a few skills really at once, I mean, you never really have a shortage of skills, I feel. The game is really good about that, but it is a considerably smaller amount than some other games like World of Warcraft, so you don't need a huge hotbar and like insane macros and gigantic hands that can just jump all around the keyboard to be able to enjoy the combat. You can just it makes it kind of easy to move and attack and do everything you have to do all at once. Although I do benefit from the fact that I've got the Razer Naga mouse, which has like 12 buttons on the side that I can program for different in-game things. So I wouldn't have a problem either way, I think. I hope I can't... oh, actually this is great. You see this right here? This is a vista. To 100% an area, you don't only have to get all the quests or the hearts filled up in that area. There are these vistas here which play out a cinematic when you go to them. They're kind of like the posts in Assassin's Creed when you climb up to the top of a building and you look around. They're kind of like that. And they give you nice views, and they give you a bit of XP when you do them, but the reason you do them is so that you complete your discovery of one area of a map. So there are a variety of things, as you can see on the left side. You have to finish all the tasks in an area, find all the waypoints, get all the points of interest, which are just like towns and small things like that. You have to complete the skill challenges, which give you the skill points I was talking about earlier, and you have to go watch all the vistas. And the vistas are kind of one of the more fun things because they involve a bit of exploration and a bit of platforming. So they're a nice change of pace from the regular combat and questing and things like that. Oh, I am not in the right... oh, okay. Should I jump that way? I'm gonna jump this way. Don't kill me. Thank you. The underwater combat in Guild Wars is actually pretty good, but I'm definitely not getting into it now because it's better than most underwater combat systems I've seen, but that doesn't mean it's fun, you know what I mean? And since I couldn't find much else to kill, I'll just disarm that bear trap, and now we've got some people. The way I look at Guild Wars 2 is, honestly, I feel it's basically a World of Warcraft for the modern age. I think it takes everything that WoW did, or that made WoW revolutionary at its time, and it improved upon it in its own ways. And I think it makes it probably the best all-around MMO out right now. It's traditional, but at the same time it's innovative, and it's polished and good, and it does something that most MMOs aren't doing these days, which is that it shows a distinct focus on story and lore and those kinds of things, which a lot of games these days, if you've been playing Terra or if you've been seeing Terra, you realize, or like Terra or even other games like Blade and Soul and things like that, they don't do stuff like that much anymore. It's all become pretty much about just replicating the same formula, but adding in new combat mechanics and just basically taking the exact same underlying mechanics from one game to the next, but just changing the way the content looks and just changing the face of it. But I feel Guild Wars goes into the underlying parts of what makes MMOs good, and it changes some of the fundamentals around to create a much nicer experience. So we've leveled up again. Got an extra bag. I've unlocked PvP. And I got an equipment reward. Oh, I've got some new pants. Ooh, looking good. And I will slot that bag in. I'll open these two as well. By the way, a handy tip is that you get a lot of crafting materials from killing low-level creatures, and I used to sell them the first time around when I first started playing Guild Wars, but I realized later that when I wanted to get into crafting, I didn't have enough stuff for it. But now I know that if you click on this little gear over here, and you click deposit all materials, you can toss all your materials into your material vault from anywhere in the world, which I think is really good to just keep spamming, because that way naturally you'll have enough gear later to be able to create some pretty amazing weapons. And then there's also this compact option, which sorts out your inventory and organizes it a bit. Don't you run from me, boy. I actually didn't look at my hero ability. It gives me passive regen and it heals me. Forgot to accept this as well. The new expansion for Guild Wars, if anyone's wondering, it's supposed to bring in specializations for classes. So now you can each class can fork into different specializations, so that they totally change the way each one plays. I am gonna try to kill this ice drake, but I'm kinda nervous. Ooh. Okay. It's not devilishly easy, but I've had worse. But yeah, so other things that they're supposed to add is a new PvP game mode, which is supposed to mimic a lot of MOBA mechanics. So you spawn minions and you try to push into the other team's base. And I think it's really cool. And you guys, that was just a randomly generated event, and I just got some XP from that. So that's what that looks like. Other things the game adds is the different specializations that let your character equip new weapons and stuff, which is pretty cool. And a whole new area of the world, a jungle-themed environment. And I believe a new class as well, but I don't know if they've actually revealed much about it. But if they have, I will try to get you guys that information later. In Guild Wars 2, the best way to level up is always through questing or dungeons and stuff. Later on, dungeons provide a pretty respectable amount of XP, like because there's a scaling system in the game where if you're high level and you go back to a lower level area, your level scales, your level and your stats and stuff, they scale down to match the area you're in. But as a reward for getting weaker, you also gain more XP or similar XP from low level areas as you would from high level areas. And that same thing applies to dungeons. So even when you're level 80, it pays off quite a lot to go back and redo level 20, level 40 dungeons, because you get pretty much the same amount of XP. And dungeons pretty much always give you almost one full level of XP every time you repeat them, but only once a day. Then the XP gain goes down substantially. But yeah, guys, here's just another example of how the questing system changes. So now I'm basically ransacking this horde of monsters in their like, I guess their den, because I guess we just don't like them. I think I'll leave the game off at level 5 for today, because I didn't realize it takes so long to level up. I'm so used to games letting you level up really fast in the beginning. I kind of forgotten how quick things move in Guild Wars. Actually, I made a list a second ago of the different stuff I wanted to talk about for this game. I think I've talked about most of it. I guess the last thing I want to talk about is Guild Wars 2 provides a genuine challenge for players, both in PvE and PvP, because there is no dedicated healer class. There's no priest or like paladin or anything like that. If you're so when you go into dungeons and stuff, it's pretty damn easy to get totally wiped, or to get totally party wiped if you don't strategize properly and if you don't know what you're doing. I've known a lot of people who, or I've had it happen to me a lot of times where I just have died maybe 5-6 times to the same boss because we didn't pull it off perfectly. And it's quite nice because it really, like, Guild Wars 2 is challenging because it requires teamwork and strategy, not just the right gear and the right stats, you know? Oh god. So I didn't mean... Oh, so I just got an ability. I don't know what it does though. If you're gonna play Guild Wars 2, I highly recommend this mod. It's battle, or sorry, I think it's called the combat mode mod. It's genuinely a really good addition to this game. It makes things a bit more smooth and a bit more fun. I wouldn't say it makes the game anything close to something like Terra, but it does make it better than what it could have been. Oh. Okay, these guys are just ignoring me. That's kind of annoying. Respect me. And by the way, on the topic of my actual commentary, I'm sorry if my commentary isn't so good. I'm pretty much brand new at all this, and I'm still trying, but I'll keep, or I hope to keep releasing content until one day I get competent at it at least. Because I do love to play games, and I do love to try out new games all the time, especially now with all the free-to-plays on the market. It makes it so easy for people to just jump in and try out something new. And I want to maybe share some of the games that people might not know so much about with people who are interested, because I've had it happen a few times where I've discovered a game on my own or through other YouTube channels and recommended them to friends, and those friends have gone on to really like playing those games. Most recent example being Terra. I've had a couple of friends love Terra after giving it a shot. Same thing with Counter-Strike, although I know a lot of people know about Counter-Strike, obviously. So there's one more event. Often you'll see, and what you might have noticed by now, is that a lot of world events lead into each other. So they're a lot more in depth than you might think. It's like they kind of they flesh out their own sort of story, and a little mini adventure on the side. I don't know how good Guild Wars 2 is in terms of roleplay, but the atmosphere in this game is really splendid. Everything feels so polished and so perfect for the world, even down to the menus and the UI and stuff. Like, notice how everything is sort of themed to look of the time. Even the mini map is sort of a watercolor painting sort of aesthetic. It's all quite amazing in my opinion. Okay, I hope after this I should be able to hit level 5, and then I think we should be good for... Ah, damn. We are not good for today. I must continue. Alright, so sometimes you periodically get stat boosts and unlocks and stuff. The different stats in the game actually would be something nice to show you guys. But whoa! Oh shit! Look at that. So I just got a two-handed hammer, and now you guys can see that my skills at the bottom have totally shifted. So now my 2 is this big swing, and my and my 3 like smashes the ground. I think it's a nice touch, but I wish each class had more weapons to choose from. So for example, when I was playing Elementalist, you could only hold daggers and focuses, or foci, or I don't know the plural of focuses, or a staff. But that was it. You couldn't hold swords or great swords or anything like that, and I think that was a pretty big missed opportunity. I feel it would have been nice if they let every class pick any kind of weapon, or at least just a few more. I don't know how my voice sounds today, but if it sounds kind of shit, I apologize, because I've got a bit of a raspy throat from all the weather changing over here. So, what am I supposed to do here? Oh, look at that, level 5. Awesome. What did I get? New profession skill. Interesting. Jump to the target location and slam your hammer down, damaging and stunning foes. Alright, so you do get... Okay, if I can just rebind that to something else. What else do I want to bind it to? Wait, it's gonna be... Nope, whatever F4 is, yep. I need it to be, let's say that. Okay, so now I've got it bound to this button, or it didn't do it. God damn it. It should do it. Ah, screw it. I'll just... Okay, I guess I can't even press F4 then. I think maybe I need to charge it up or something. But that is... all I'm gonna show for today. Thank you guys for watching. I'll just open up the... Whoa. Where is the hero screen? Right. So here's where you can change all your stuff. But the one thing I just wanted to show you guys was your stats and stuff. So the warrior basically likes to have a lot of health, a lot of power, and a lot of vitality and precision. I guess a bit of precision because that helps with crits and stuff. But yeah, this has been the first of a new series from 1 to 80, featuring the Guild Wars 2 Warrior class. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys all again soon.